The diagonal cross is sometimes used as a symbol for Christ, whose name in Greek begins with the Greek letter X. It also stands for the number 1000 in ancient Greece, and even represented Chronos, the god of time, the planet Saturn and the god Saturn in Roman mythology. The Chi-Rho monogram, XP, in English CHR, is also pre-Christian. This could not be entirely overlooked, nor Liddell and Scott's statement that it stood for Chronos. Chronos was the Greek name of Saturn, who was only another aspect of Tammuz. Under money, Smith gives some examples of the pre-Christian T and XP, without however, connecting them with Tammuz. Neither are we told that in Egypt, the Chi-Rho was the monogram of Osiris, as the sun was called Abydos, and was also a sign of Jupiter Ammon who, as well as Chronos was also the sun. Sancho Nathan says, the Phoenicians supposed the sun to be the only god, calling him Beelzebub, which name among them signifies Lord of Heaven, but among the Greeks, Zeus or Jupiter. The letter Chi was also used by the Greeks as a solar symbol and was connected to Saturn as the abbreviation of his name, Chronos, as was the wheel-shaped sign formed by the first two letters combined, the so-called Chi-Rho. Both abbreviations were adopted by the Christians as the initials of Christ, and are still in use today, the Chi appearing in our shorthand word for Christmas, Xmas. The bind letters, or monogram, Chi-Rho became one of the most prominent of Christian symbols, and can still be seen in almost any Roman Catholic church. The African Saturn, Baal-Hamon, was the national god of the Libyo-Phoenicians, and we know that the cult of the sun was particularly strong in Syria. An inscription from Tobna in Algeria dedicated to Sol Invictus has as its first letter a single X, which M. Jenin has identified as either a solar symbol or the abbreviation of Cronus, that is Saturn. It is an overlooked fact that the Chi stands for Chronos, as well as for Christ, as does for that matter the Chi-Rho. The point is that with the close association of Saturnus Ion and Sol, this X could well have been both a solar symbol and an abbreviation for Chronos. As the Chi could have represented Cronus, the large and imperiously drawn single S in the Pompeian graffito could have stood for Saturnus or even Sol and was not an abbreviation for Salutum, as has been thought up to now. The satyr god, Saturnus Ion, could very well have been Paternoster, for his symbol was the solar cross, either as a plus or an X. The following are the monograms of Osiris. They are also the monograms of Jupiter Ammon. This character is to be seen upon one of the coins of Decius, the great persecutor of the Christians, with this word upon it. This word in the same manner is found on the staffs of Isis and Osiris. The cross of Constantine was nothing more than the Chi-Rho, the monogram of Osiris, and afterwards of Christ. Sab, or Seb, was the name of the Egyptian Saturn, the father of Osiris and Isis. They say that Osiris was begotten by Helios, which I take to be the son of the spring equinox, by Hermes, Isis, by Saturn, Typhon and Nephthys. Saturn is Seb, and I find reasons for placing him at the autumn equinox, diametrically opposite to Osiris. In the inscription on Hermapian's obelisk, the sun is called the great god and lord of heaven, lord of time, Horus, lord of light, all which appellations belong to Osiris, as Saturn, Chronos, Olinus and Sol. Osiris is the Persian Mithra who formerly reigned at Heliopolis. Osiris in my understanding was not a king but the planet Saturn, Chronos of the Greeks, Tammuz of the Babylonians. like Saturn in Phoenicia, Osiris in Egypt is represented with many eyes, and Mithra has 1,000 eyes. Osiris, like Saturn, is connected with the color black. The Babylonian Bel Mithra was Bel, and also Saturn, Kronos, and Sol. The original form of the Arabian, Phoenician, Egyptian and Grecian worship was that of the sun. Karanos, Kronos, Sada or Saturn, El, Sol Saturn, Azar, Fire, Azar, Azar El, Saturn, Osiris, Sol Saturn, the Hebrew El, Theos, the Greek Zeus, Sun, Theos, the Hebrew Dionysus, Baal, Iach, Iako, Greek Iachos, Yahoo, Habal, Apollon,